morning, everybody. This is Jean here, Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. I hope you're having a good day. Just a few things I want to address in this little video here. I have been sewing. I have been doing my challenge quilt, Jean Truelove's quilting challenge quilt, and I'm also working on just a few other little things now and again. But I wanted to first of all address the disaster that happened in the United States here in Kentucky, Missouri, and the subsequent states with the record-breaking tornadoes. That's really made me sad and affected me because, as you know, we were affected. Nothing like what has happened with the complete and utter devastation down south. We're in Pennsylvania. We didn't get any of the residual winds or anything here, fortunately. But the death toll is rising, people are missing, and it was just absolutely horrific images that I'm sure you've all seen or not wanted to see. But it's a reality, it's happening. And it hit home, as I said, to me the last 2-3 days because of the enormity that the weather has wreaked on our life in particular, as you know. But as I say, nothing to that extent. We're here, we're safe. And I imagine there's thousands of people who are now homeless and perhaps don't have anywhere to go. So my heart, I was crying. I was crying for them, I was crying for me, we were crying. It's just so terrible. And you know, we donate to for disaster relief, and hopefully, especially my brothers and sisters in the congregations down there, as well as their neighbors and their friends, and are okay. We don't know that as of yet among the death toll, but that's being found out. But again, the devastation is just so terrible. So along with me, if you we can extend our prayers, truly our prayers, for I don't know what, for just a peace and calm, and to take one day at a time and be grateful they're alive. Don't say, you know, you're alive, they're just things. You know how I feel about that. Their lives have been wiped out. The memories, they have memories, but a lot of us like tangible memories, and they're all gone. And I can commiserate very much. And I was very upset. That really made me upset because Maxwell, if I think the last video I put up, Maxwell said, I wonder when the next disaster will be. And Shirley commented, this is it. That was a disaster. It didn't affect us. However, me always the bearer of good news. We are here. Oh, you gotta laugh, right? We're here in the basement apartment of our son's home. Lovely home. Really nice. We're very content. We're happy with what we have. And it was finished right before we moved in. It was going to be finished anyway, and we just necessitated a place to live, so it was kindly offered. And the tile flooring had been put down. It's like a nice tile floor. It's quite actually warm underneath. We're nice and warm down here. It's lovely. And the other, about 5 days ago, I said to Ian that we had a small throw rug in the what is the living room / office / little bedroom / bathroom, and I said, oh, you must have spilled some water on this little rug as you walk in through the threshold. And so we put it in the actual little boiler room here, which is warm. It dried out, and put it back, and I'm like, Ian, you spilled some water again. Next to his desk. Yeah, us and water. We pulled it up and it was soaked, and all of a sudden between, oops, there's my phone, between the cracks of the grout. Hold on, I have to get my phone.
Have to show my face.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put it up just for a second. Okay. Okay, I just went and got my phone and say, who is that?
Hello.
Hello, everybody. There's our Maxwell. Are you working hard?
Yeah.
Or hardly working?
I'm doing both.
Good boy. Okay, I'll talk to you later, okay, my man?
Yes, for the Spider-Man movie, can I buy? Never mind.
Maxwell, we'll discuss the Spider-Man movie later.
Hey, can I get it? It is for the movie, Spider-Man movie on the 17th. Can I get it just this once?
What is it, Maxwell?
Hint, hint.
I don't know what hint.
I drink it all the time.
Oh, Maxwell.
It's just for the movie, then I won't buy any more for quite a while.
You promised that.
No promises.
We'll discuss it when we get home. Tell the people to goodbye.
Bye-bye.
We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, darling.
Bye.
Oh, my dear Maxwell. He's dying to see this Spider-Man movie. Oh, anyway, so I'll get to that because he just came home from his brother's house, as you know. Anyway, there was a plumbing leak. The pipe apparently had been in the radiator had been months ago. Had the carpenter the builder the finisher, the worker who had put the skirting board on, the baseboard, had shot the nail into this pipe. But it had not made itself manifest for, what, 3.5 months now? Oh my word. And so the whole floor, the whole floor was filling up with water, the underlayment, and then it was started, seeping through this click flooring, which is a really good flooring, actually. So we had a bit of a flood. I was like, we were actually laughing. We moved everything. I'm like, oh my goodness, this little black cloud's following us. Or the little black cloud filled with water, right? Everywhere we go. Anyway, we had to laugh. So we have to pull up the flooring. Hopefully we got the big air movers, we got the dehumidifiers going, pulled out a ton of water. Our son, who's our landlord here, we called upstairs like, oh, Mr. Landlord, we have a flood. There's water everywhere. So he came down, and boy, oh boy, clever boy, he's at 10:30 at night, he's cutting the pipes. He drained the system, he put the hose on, he's cutting the pipes, he put the two little coupling ends on to stop the leak where it was. But apparently, I said, why in the world did it make itself manifest now? Like, why didn't it leak before? Well, it had been leaking for a while, but we didn't know it. We didn't know it was leaking under the floor. The gravity put it downwards. We pulled up the floor, there's like a swimming pool. He said, well, the little nail actually sort of plugged the hole to a great extent, and then, you know, drip by drip by drip, and then it just started. So when we pulled the skirting board, we're getting soaked, or like with buckets and Pyrex dishes that are short because it's down low. So that was just a tiny little mini disaster that we tend to have, but that's okay. Maxwell's going to the movies with his brother, another brother. He's going with Niles, the Spider-Man premiere, whenever it is. He spent a while with his brother Jean-Pierre and his wife Caitlin. Oh, it was lovely. He had they have a nice 4-bedroom home, and we had gone down overnight last week. So we were in their nice guest room. They only have one child, expecting their second. Maxwell was in what will be the new baby's room with a little single bed, little gaming area. But when we left, he went into the nice guest room with a lovely queen-size bed and the television. So he was set. He's like, oh, he kept saying to Jean-Pierre, oh, can I stay here? Can I stay here? But we're happy here. We're fine. He was happy to come home. So now he's like, this is this next thing. But I think you'll all be wondering about the quilt that's behind me, okay? And you probably have seen this quilt maybe before, years and years and years ago. Years and years and years ago. Again, I have salvaged and I have saved and preserved so many of the quilts that I made when I started to quilt. Now, it was interesting. When I started to quilt, which was now 16 years ago, I really didn't have a clue about colors. I know I like to put colors together, but I didn't know like quilting colors, and the selection was not as great as it is now. Oh my word, the quilting industry has exploded with the manufacturer's choice, and you're spoilt for choice. The prices have gone up. I used to be able to get a batik for sometimes $4.95, $5.95 a yard. Now they're $13 to $17 a yard. In this country, $12 to $13 a yard. Expensive. It's an expensive hobby. The quilt behind me, as you can see, is made up of all different batiks. And as I was starting my quilting journey, I was really keen on getting books because I taught myself. I had always been a garment seamstress, and I forever, since I was about 10, but I didn't have a clue about quilting, and it's a whole different animal if you know that. And I had gotten all of these books. These are the Better Homes and Garden. They're called Quilt Lovers Favorites, and I think it's every year. They come out in this format years ago. So like this one is volume 3. I have volume 12, volume 8, volume 11. Let me see the earlier one, volume 3. So this is like 2003, okay? So it's almost 20 years old, this particular book, and they're probably a little bit older. Better Homes and Gardens, again, in America, been around forever. So let me just see. This is volume 4. I had gotten these books. I had bought them, and I have almost every volume. After a while, and I don't know where they are, they're in storage or somewhere, they stopped the large format, nice hardbound format. And they went to like a paperback, just an ordinary quilting magazine, quilt book, size. I really like these though. These are so lovely, and they remind me of my first foray into quilting. Now this quilt the quilt behind me, as you can see, is an applique quilt. And in this book, I don't know if you can see that with a glare. I'll take a picture of it. This is the Quilt Lover's Favorite from American Patchwork and Quilting, which is a magazine, volume 4. And I was looking through this quilt book ages ago, and I came across this quilt here. Does that look familiar? Look at that behind me. I copied it. Obviously, it's not the same exact batik fabric, but it's the same colorway. I went out and I saw that the border was like a green mottled batik, and then there's the oranges and the blues and the pinks and the different shades of green and the yellows. So I actually just went out and I purchased all of these batiks because I didn't have quilting fabric, and I made this quilt. And I just found it over in my sewing room, and I opened the book and that popped out. Now that's about 13 or 14, maybe 15 years old. The actual applique I cut out from a quilter's plastic template fabric material. There's my actual pattern, and these books are really nice. Sometimes the oldies are really good. They have in the back, the actual pattern is right there, what you need to make this quilt. There's the pattern. It gives you the obviously what I don't ever do in my tutorials. It gives you like the how much, 2.5 yards of this or what, and pieces of that, and then it gives you the instructions. But it also, on the back, it comes with the paper pattern, and I made that pattern. But it's really nice because at the very back, here's the paper patterns these books come with. Again, I hope you can see. There's a glare. I hope you can see. But then it has this pocket in the back that you can just put your patterns in when you're done. I really like these books very, very much. And this one, this is volume 3. I believe I made this quilt before I had made this one because I liked it. And again, I saw, let me see if I can find it. Let me just see. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I had seen this pattern in this book. This is the Quilt Lover's Favorite, Volume 3. That lovely, lovely butterfly quilt. Well, I loved it so much that I made it almost identical, and I'll put a picture up now. Compliment me for being able to put colors together in a quilt, and I started by copying. I didn't really have a clue. So if you're a beginner, which again I channel my, well, when I was doing tutorials, you must forgive me. When I was a beginning, I didn't really have a clue. I thought, I don't know, there's such an assortment of fabrics, and now you go into a fabric store and you're completely gobsmacked. Like, where in the world do I begin? And I always say, find a focal fabric. But even if before square one, get a picture and copy it. You don't know how to put the colors together? Well, like this, the butterfly quilt, I had a bunch of scraps, and I just made the butterflies. Applique is wonderful for that. You don't need a ton of yardage. And as you can see on my quilt, I made a green and white. I made the green and white checkerboard, which I absolutely love. And that I believe they used like an embroidery thread for the little antennas. I just used a Sharpie, not a Sharpie, like a fabric safe pen even back then. So these two quilts, my butterfly quilt and the quilt behind me, I copied. I didn't have a clue. So again, if you don't have a clue, I made this quilt. I did sell this quilt. I don't have a picture of it. I made this quilt in exactly the same colors. I can't find a picture of it. But again, I made that quilt because I loved it so much. This is volume 12. As I was going on, I gravitated to my reds. I just loved that quilt. And I made that quilt also. So these books are really lovely. Volume 8, just so nice. I mean, I'm probably preaching to the choir here. You probably have all of your favorite quilting books and your pictures. But if you probably now, you could probably get these secondhand in a craft store or a thrift store, because they might some of the not the methods, but nowadays with rotary cutting and real, like a ton of specialty rulers, I feel quilting has come so far, as opposed to maybe 30 years ago. The actual quilting methods. But these are, I would recommend, if you see one in a thrift store, or even if you can get them online, even secondhand, I would grab these. These are awesome, awesome books, and Better Homes and Gardens in this country. Classic, classic, classic. Oh, one more thing. My next video, most probably, will be Jen is coming, and Jen will be showing you again her giraffe quilt, and we are going to have a giraffe naming game. I don't know. I actually had written down, I hope I didn't forget. Hope I didn't. You must, and I will address this in my next video. I hope I didn't miss anyone's out. Jenny, Medley, Hope, Fancy, Gwendolyn, Penelope, Lady Diva, Twiggy, Esmeralda, Fiona, Patches, Felicia, Cleo, Geraldine, Ginger, Shish, I'm hiding, Ollie, Gus, Gracie, Petunia, Isabella, Willow, Sundance, Johari, Heidi, Queen G, Gemma, Jerry Giraffe, Jeffrey, April, Francis, Gigi. There's quite a few for Gigi. Jennifer, Gertie, Frederica, Gina. So I'm compiling the names, and Jen, it's going to be a girl, so sorry, Jeffrey. Sorry, Jeff. There's a few guys on here. It's going to be a girl, and Jen is going to name her. But also, quite a few of you were saying, we'll dress this. Oh, is there a pattern? You know, Jen's giraffe quilt. There's no pattern. We just make up things as we go along. Again, I'm working on my Truelove Challenge quilt, and I am making it up as I go. And I think that's the whole challenge. You know, like patterns and books are awesome. Fantastic, fantastic. But the Truelove Quilting Challenge is a small quilt. It's 35 inches by 40 inches. And that is proving a challenge to some people. It did to me. All of a sudden, I'm like, I want to make it big. I want to make it huge, right? I make king-size quilts. And I'm like, it's done. Now what? So I had to sort of scale down everything and have a rethink. So it's been a challenge for me also. Again, Jen will be here the next video. We're going to name her quilt. And she's going to just sort of maybe a little bit more in depth talk through her process. As you know, her process was asking the fabrics what they wanted to be. You often have to do that. Put them in front of you. You had this challenge, you'll have several months to do that. Don't rush into anything. She didn't. And then think outside your box. Think outside your, oh, I can't do this. Yeah, you can. It's fabric. It's fabric and thread, and grab a pair of scissors. And you've always liked something, maybe when you were a little girl, maybe when you're a little boy, you had a favorite animal, you had a favorite, you know, a favorite fort, what was in that. So you really, you know, a challenge is to really extend yourself. And I think in these dreadful days that we're living in, with all of these horrible disasters, if we can have something in our tea half hour to bring us a little bit of lightness and brightness and joy. And we always say we thrive. Jen always says she always looks for a little bit of joy in every day, and we do too. Because at the end of the day, we are here, we are alive, we are blessed, we have each other. And I thank you so much. Look up Better Homes and Garden, Quilt Lovers Favorites. Awesome books. I'm sure quite a few of you have these books. Yeah, we're going to be drawing out our floor. Water. It's so funny. We just laughed. I'm like, oh well, never mind. Okay, it's all right. We're cool. Maxwell's fine, as you can see. He went to work, help Ian out today. Yeah, we're safe and happy, and we hope and pray for all of the people in southern states here, for their sanity at this dreadful time. So please join me with that. Thanks everybody. As always, love from the Trueloves. Bye-bye.